Hey VC, it's Ronnie again. Alright, so I'm going to be doing a vinyl update, and I actually have a lot of records to update you guys on, because honestly, you guys have seen I haven't done a lot of videos this summer. So I've got albums dating all the way back to probably late spring. So I'm going to be starting with the stuff that I've gotten in the last few weeks, and then I'll be doing a couple more episodes, updates that will cover what I have left. So right now I'm doing a pile of about 50. So this video is going to be a little longer than most, but it's got some really cool records that I've been able to find the last few weeks. And ending with, I think I've got a couple at the end that are pretty cool records. So now I know I called this a vinyl update. I do have like 3 or 4 CDs and a cassette tape, so you can razz me as much as you want, thumbs down, I don't care. So hey, if you guys don't follow me yet, click the subscribe. I love to get more subscribers, guys, to interact. Please comment. I love comment with you guys. Right now I do have a contest going on, so it's just one more. Do you have albums that you have quite a few of, you know, and you just have to keep buying them every time you see that one album? Yep, just one more. So if you're interested, go find it. What else? Yeah, like I said, I've got a batch of about 50, and I've probably got close to 200 to still show off, get out. Those are all my still sealed. Some of them are new, some of them are older. A couple more down there. Those 3 behind the Savior machines, those are all full of records that I haven't showed you guys yet, and some of them are inventoried, some of them aren't. So, but let me get going so this video isn't too long. So I'm going to start out with the Goodwill finds that we've had lately. I know I've chatted with a couple guys like Billy, and he's gotten some really good scores. I've gotten some pretty alright albums lately at Goodwill, but nothing phenomenal, and definitely not for like 50 cents a piece or nothing. The cheapest ones I have here are like a buck, and I think they go up to about $5 or $6. So I'm going to start out with Frank Sinatra, his greatest hits. When I find these and they're in good condition, I don't pass them up. I love the Rat Pack, some good stuff. So like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time. Chet Atkins, another dollar one. I love Chet Atkins. I've got 4 or 5 of his albums. This is a double EP. It's got some really good songs on it. So here's another one. Alright, speaking of Rat Pack, Dean Martin. This one's in really great condition. There's the songs on there. A couple great songs on here. So Dean Martin. Alright, now this one I paid $1 for it. It's a little ratty, but I don't have it. The vinyl's pretty good, so there, I got a placeholder. Passion Works by Heart. Don't have this one yet. There's the songs that are on it. Alright, so I love good soundtracks, and this is a great soundtrack, Chariots of Fire. It's in really nice condition. So if you guys seen the movie, heard the music, great music. So here's another soundtrack, The Sting. Just a classic soundtrack. So, but classic movie too. Alright, Commodores. Saw the Commodores here, and this is the one that has 3 Times a Lady on it. There we go. So, and it's got Lionel Richie in the Commodores here. It's a good album. Another soundtrack, an original Superman movie soundtrack, gatefold. Both albums are just crazy clean. Has a sticker on here for all the titles. So they must have messed up and then stuck a sticker on there to correct all the albums. So Superman. All right, now this one is paid a couple more dollars than I wanted to, but I really like this album. Richard Marx. Don't tell anybody. So this is a really great classic album. One of the only albums that I have that I can actually play one of the songs for on piano. Right Here Waiting. I actually learned that on piano, believe it or not. Alright, so these next several, I paid more than I wanted to, really, but I don't see these that often, and they're ones that I would really like to get. So Brian Duncan, and these are all in pretty good condition. So Brian Duncan's actually a friendly acquaintance of mine. He rides in Black Sheep, and I've met him a few times, hung out with him a few times. So Brian Duncan, pretty cool guy. And then which one is this? Holy Rollin'. And then Have Yourself Committed, another Brian Duncan. So if you're interested, it's pretty decent music. Now here is a incredibly talented guy, Steve Taylor. This album, they had a couple copies, so I was able to just pick the best copy. I have this on CD. I believe my wife has it on CD. So, and then Randy Stonehill, pretty cool rocker from the 70s, early 80s. So those are my Goodwill buys. Nothing phenomenal lately, but oh, got a couple more from Goodwill too, don't I? So here's some of my CDs. Steelheart, and I'd love to get this album on record. I love this. Just a killer. There's the titles that are on here. So I'll Never Let You Go is the hit off of this one. So it was in pretty good condition. $3 is what they charge for these. So I know they should be like 50 cents or $1, but I don't see that one often. And bam, Beast from the East, Dawkins. This is just a fun live album. So this is another one I want to get in vinyl someday, but ain't got it yet. So along with that, I also found Look What the Cat Drugged In. Pretty good condition, sounds really good. So now I have this on vinyl, tape, and CD. So, alright. Now I'm going to get into the local shop that I shop at, record store. It's an audio video place, and they have a couple big rooms of vinyl. Kitsap Audio in Silverdale. Derek is the owner, great guy. Treat me well, they treat everybody well. We usually have a Wednesday night vinyl listening night, and we're taking a couple months off for him to just work and get caught up with his stuff and to take a break. You know, it's hard on them to have to stay late every Wednesday night for months and months and months on end, or years on end. So he's going to take a break on that. So with that, probably about a third to half of these albums I'm going to show you I got half price, because he throws a half price day once in a while. And so a couple of these higher priced ones I got half price, and pretty excited about that. But so the first one I'm going to show, Deep Purple, Perfect Strangers. It's pretty classic album, not their biggest hits, but it was a good, you know, for me, a $3 buy. I can handle that. So, the next one, I've been wanting a decent copy of this. So Santana's debut album, just great album. And it's not the best jacket, but if you can tell, whoop, there it is. I didn't pay a lot for it, so I'm pretty happy about that. This was one of my half price albums that I got, so I didn't have this one yet. Definitely not the cleanest but the vinyl is in good condition, and I really enjoy that album. All right, speaking of Rat Pack, another Sammy Davis Jr. This is the one that was really cool. So it opens up, and then the record's like in here, so you got to make sure you don't drop it. But the whole thing just like unfolds. It's a big poster. It's kind of neat. I hadn't seen any jackets like this before, so this is the first one that does that I've seen. So anybody else have one like this? It's kind of cool. So all right, so next, this one I got for my wife, Steel Eye Span. She really likes these guys. If you know anything about them, they're a pretty talented group, and not really my style, but she likes them a lot, and so I got this for her. Steve Perry. This is a great album. Definitely not my favorite Journey singer, but he does come from the classic hits Journey, you know, with all the ballads that they did. So Steve Miller Band, I had never heard of this album, and we listened to it. It is definitely a different album. I think Out of the Night was one of the singles off this album, but most of the songs on this album I'd never heard, so it is definitely different. So yeah, if you're a Steve Miller Band guy, I bet this is one of the more obscure ones, so I'd never heard of it. But all right, so these next two albums I picked up for my son, Wolfie. So Hemispheres, I just got this last week for him. It's a pretty decent copy. There's the songs off of that. Some really good tunes. And then the first one that I had gotten for him was Grace Under Pressure. This one's in pretty good condition too. This has one of my favorite, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I ain't focusing at all on the white, is it? So Distant Early Warning. So when I was, I don't know, elementary school, junior high, elementary school, that was one of the earlier Rush songs that I remember. I remember a lot of the early Rush, but that's one of the songs I remember. You remember the kid flying on the ballistic missile, right? It's kind of a cool video. Do we all remember songs from videos, right? MTV, right? MTV used to play music videos, right? Not those game show things, believe it or not. And then I picked this one up for me, Caress of Steel. This was one of the half price that I got for $2, and pretty alright. It's got a couple scuffs on the vinyl, which I can deal with, but overall it's still pretty clean, and it's one of the older pressings of it, so it's not a first press, but it's an older press, and it sounds pretty good, so I'm very happy with that one. So this one, Black Sabbath Live Evil. My son goes, hey, the E is backwards in the Live Evil. I said, that's because it's kind of a mirror image. And he's like, oh, that's kind of cool. So this one, I originally passed it up because when it's in pretty clean condition. It looks pretty good. Here's all the songs that are on it. So this is a live album. It's a 4-side or 2 LP set. When I pulled out one of is, which side is it? It's not that side. Pulled out one side, I was like, oh, it's all water damaged. I haven't cleaned them yet, it's still in the original. So, can you tell? You see that it's all crinkled up? So when I saw that, I was like, oh man, it's all water damaged. The other side's not like that. But then I got to looking at it. Can you see? There's another label underneath. Okay, see that? See that? It's pristine. So somehow when this got pressed, it got two labels on it, and the top label didn't adhere all the way. So when I went back to look at it, I noticed, oh man, that's not water damage. The second label is not adhered all the way. So I figured I'd just keep it that way and not try to take it off. But so no water damage, so I was happy to see that. It's a really clean sounding copy. So not one of my grails for Black Sabbath, but it's one of the ones that you need to complete the collection, right? So, alright, so moving on. Another Bill Cosby. This is probably my second or third copy of this. This one is just pristine. It's absolutely gorgeous. And cost me $1. And my boys get most of my duplicate Bill Cosbys. So I got this for my son too. Absolute classic. Genesis album. I love this album. And one of the earliest songs I remember as a kid from Genesis is Illegal Alien in a video. So there goes MTV again, videos. Alright, so the next couple, here is one of the Led Zeppelins that I haven't had yet. And this one was like $8. It has a little water damage on it. But besides that, it looks pretty good. There's the songs on this album. And it plays beautiful. The vinyl is beautiful. And so I can't complain. In fact, when I looked this one up, it comes up as a pretty early pressing too. So the sound of it just, oh man, I pulled Wolfie out because he's learning drums, right? And one of the drum solos that I've loved my whole life is Bonzo's Mantra. Is it at right here? I love it. You can really hear his drums in that song. You can really hear his experimentation with how he plays them, and it's just, you can hear the flappiness of him because he would play with those heads just loose, and it worked for him, and that's part of what Led Zeppelin's sound is, right? So yes, he really got a kick out of that. So here's another Led Zeppelin album that I was still missing. So the song remains the same. It's not like a studio album, but for the $10 I got this for, it's in pretty decent condition. It's got all the insert pages still in it. It's not perfect, you know, you can still read everything, but the vinyl is in beautiful condition. I haven't cleaned this one in yet, but it works really good. Little gluing seems to be done. I don't mind when albums aren't full price and need a little gluing and such, because that's an easy thing to do. So a couple more classic albums. Animals. This one I got cheaper than what was actually labeled on it. So, because this one has a big scuff in one side. You can hear it a little bit. I made sure to listen to it before I left the store. You can hear it a little bit, but it's not too bad. Not too bad. It doesn't take away from the listening experience. So there's an album that I love that I haven't had yet. You guys seen me show this one already. I showed it in a video, and it was at the Rock Scout, his video, because he wanted an album that you do not like with a song that you like on it. So I showed this one, and I picked Not Now John, because that one actually has 3 of the 4 original players on it, and it has to me that classic Pink Floyd vibe from back in the day. So, all right, moving on. Now, when I did the half price night, I picked up a whole slew of these guys. Krokus, right? This one's a little rough. I think this one, it was just ended up being $1.50. The vinyl is playable but not beautiful, right? So that's definitely a placeholder. Everything else is in phenomenal condition. Here's Headhunter. I've not been the biggest Krokus fan, but I enjoy their music. This one I actually picked up 2 of. The Blitz, which this one's in really good condition. Alright, there's the songs off this one. And then this one is in beautiful, beautiful, beautiful near mint condition. So I might be passing one of those along to somebody. And then Alive and Screaming. So those are the Krokus albums. I got all these half price that day. And then this one I didn't get half price, but I talked them down a little bit on it. Now, so my video that I have out there right now, my challenge is show me what albums that you don't ever pass up and you have just one more. Well, honestly, this is one of them. I have 3 or 4 copies of this album. I love this album, and now I've got a half-speed master of this album. It is in beautiful near mint condition, and it sounds just phenomenal. I have a near mint copy of the original press of this, and I compared them, and this one actually has a little better dynamics to it. It's pretty cool. So I know that there's people go back and forth about the half-speed mastering, and sometimes it's done right and sometimes it's done wrong, because you kind of gotta guess on the equalization, because you can't hear it the way it's supposed to sound as you're mastering it, so, or as you're cutting it. So I've heard people go both ways. Sometimes it comes out great, sometimes it doesn't come out so good. So, but that one is just phenomenal. All right, so I've got a small pile here left. Let me jump into these real quick, because so John Elefante, he's one of my probably 3 favorite singers, right? John Elefante, Michael Sweet, and Johnny Cash. Now they both sing totally different styles, but they're all just, to me, my favorite vocalists. I just love listening. Those 3 guys, I can listen to them all the time, every day. So this is one of Elefante's newest albums. I didn't have it yet, and so I ordered it. It was like $4 or $5 when I got it. So and this goes back to some of that early 70s rock progressive sound, you know, maybe more like some of the Kansas era. And then speaking of Michael Sweet, this just came out a couple days ago. He had advertised that Best Buy had a sale on these, very limited supply. In fact, so I ordered it in the morning to pick it up that afternoon at Best Buy, and when I did, it said very limited. And so when I got there's none on the shelves, and chatting with the guy at the counter, it seems like this might have been one of the only ones I actually got in. So I got it for $8. I'm waiting for the vinyl. I pre-ordered the vinyl from Frontiers. It's done by Frontiers. There's the songs that are on it. It's a pretty good album. I've listened to it 3 or 4 times now, and none of the songs are the same. It's got some pretty cool music on it. So if you like Michael Sweet, if you like Stryper, if you like Lynch Mob, if you like George Lynch's stuff, you'll like this. And if you ask me, hey, which way does it lean? Does it lean more towards Lynch Mob? Does it lean more towards Stryper? Does it? If it leans towards anything at all, it's maybe more towards Michael Sweet's solo stuff mixed with a bit of the Lynch Mob vibe, right? I don't know how to say it. It's its own style. I like it. I like it a lot. So that's the CDs. So there's my non-vinyl stuff, and I've got 2 small piles left. So let's try to finish this under 30 minutes. All right. So so I have a local flea market, and they have different people in there selling stuff. And so there, I had a small pile of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 albums. I made an offer for these albums. She counter offered me. I thought it was fair. So first one I got, Sound of Music. I got this for my oldest son. He really likes the soundtrack. So there we go. This is a beautiful original copy of this. Really good condition. So the next album I saw is a Boston that I didn't have. And so, and what was it? Don't Look Back, yes. So Don't Look Back. And this is just, it's not my favorite Boston, but it's really good. So there's the songs that are on it. And it's still the classic Boston sound. That one is near mint, beautiful. This is one from the Journey days that I love. I didn't even realize this was an album, but this is a dual LP that is called In the Beginning, and it's everything from it's not everything, but it's a majority of their stuff from their first 3 albums before Steve Perry came along and turned the band into what most people know as Journey. So there's the songs that are on it. This is a great album. It was in a lot better condition than, well, the records are in better condition than the jacket, but I'm not going to complain because it's in pretty good condition for as old as it is too. All right, so this one, yeah, I'm getting all of these guys' albums. This isn't in the best condition, but I was able to get it pretty cheap. It doesn't have any of the posters with it. It's cut out, but you guys all know this album. Shiny. There you go. This is a pretty decent album. It's probably my second favorite from the solo albums, and that might be because I actually had that record for many years, and I really enjoyed it. So this album right here was the main reason I actually went in there. Al Di Meola. You just saw me. Okay, let me start over on that one. You just saw me show one of his other albums, but this one he does with John McLaughlin and Paco de Lucia. Is that how you spell that? Hey Wolfie, how you doing, buddy? Hey, so this album. Want to say hi?
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, VC.
Did you guys have a good day?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let me finish this up, right, bud? All right. So this is just a great live jam of these 3 guys, and just a phenomenal album. This is not an easy one to find. I've only ever seen it once, and this was the one that I've seen. So
looks like it's in pretty good condition.
It is in pretty good condition.
Except for the bottom.
Yeah, a little bit of wear, a little shelf wear, yeah. All right, so I'm down to my last couple. So these albums I got when I was down in Tacoma this last week. There's a couple shops that I go to down there, and so the first album here is White Lion, Pride. Most of you know this album.
I've seen that one, but it was really good condition, but it was $20.
Yeah, they wanted $20, huh? But this one was just barely a couple bucks, right? So this really great White Lion album. All right, just stay out of my way a little bit. All right, so Scorpions, Animal Magnetism. I can't read it and say it at the same time. So just classic Scorpions.
That's Scorpion?
It is Scorpions. Yep.
I like the puppy on the back.
One of my favorite songs on here is The Zoo. I love that. I love that.
The puppy.
You like the puppy? Yeah, it's kind of a cool puppy, right? All right, almost done. Now this one, this was the last album I needed to get the John Elefante years from Kansas. They have Vinyl Confessions and Drastic Measures. These are the two albums that he sang on for Kansas.
It's so dark in Washington, but it's only 5:22.
Yeah, is it? All right,
and it's
so
pouring rain outside.
it is really pouring rain, isn't it? Yes. So John Elefante, like I said earlier, one of my very favorite singers, and he did 2 albums with Kansas. All right, so Phil Keaggy, I found this
Let's
one.
go,
This
Phil
is
Keaggy.
yeah, Phil Keaggy, right? So this is his Underground. It was Underground Volume 1, and
I know what's next.
I don't think any other were put out. So, but really
so
great
is the
album.
Only one put out?
It is. This was the only one that he put out that was like Private Collection Volume 1. Phil Keaggy, to me, the best guitarist that's ever lived. I love his guitar work. He's very versatile. He can play any style, and he does. So,
Well,
all right.
somebody showed that.
All right, so the last 2 albums that I have, this is not in the best condition, but if
It's
you ever,
in good condition.
it's all right. If you ever see Kiss Alive, they all look pretty wore. I don't know. It's just the way that they are, but this one is no exception to that. You can read the title on the spine.
Yep.
Very easily. But what set this one apart was it is an RL on all 4 sides. So I'd been looking for an RL.
What's an RL?
Robert Ludwig. So I was just getting to that. Robert Ludwig, or Bob Ludwig, was the master that mastered this album. Cut it on vinyl. He is very famous for doing Led Zeppelin 2.
I thought you were going to say it had a poster in it.
I think it's supposed to have a poster, but this one doesn't. And I didn't pay as much as I would have if it had the inserts. See? Including an 8-page color booklet. I don't have that for... I have 3 different copies of this now. I don't have any of the booklets. Or one of mine does have the original sleeves to it, though. Now I'm down to my last one, and I'm over 30 minutes, aren't I? So let's finish this up.
33 ...
Okay. So this last one is a very special one because I hadn't gotten this EP yet, and I've looked at quite a few copies, and they've all been less than what I want to pay for, quality-wise, and they're usually kind of expensive. So usually you find them about $30 or so. And I went to one of the record shops I usually go to, and I found this Queensryche EP, and he wanted about that for it, and since it's in really good condition, and what sets this one apart from all the other ones is, can you read it? Where's it at? This is the 206 records. So this is the independent release that they put out, and if you can see, it is in near mint condition. Very shiny, very shiny.
Yes, it is indeed.
So the owners, I'm spacing right now, Diana and Kim Harris, who own What's Our Favorite Record Shop?
Audio something?
No. Do you remember? So they audio something. So they took and created this record label and brought Queensryche in to record this album. And if you look at it, it is just in pristine condition. And I feel so lucky to be able to found this, and at the same price as the regular EMI recordings. After they got signed a contract, EMI put out this album, and so I paid about the price for the EMI recordings for this, so I'm pretty jazzed. And to have something that really means a lot to me, because I'm a product of the Pacific Northwest, and I remember these guys coming up, and really enjoyed Queensryche's music. So now that's it. 36 minutes. Wow. So I hope you guys are still around and you waited to be able to see this album. So for you guys that watched the whole thing, there's your treat. I feel so blessed to be able to find this album. If you guys follow me on Facebook, you saw me post this about a month ago, or when I picked it up. So but besides that, I think we're all done, and I'll have some more coming, and I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you like what you saw, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, comment. Man, tell me about some of these records. Do you like these? Do you not like them? Are some of them what you're looking for? Or some of them ones that you have a bunch of that you don't like and you're getting rid of? Let me know. Let's chat about it. So, hey.
And maybe I get some.
There are a couple in there for you, aren't there? Yep. So, all right, guys. Take care. God bless.